Horrid child syndrome. It happens when parents encourage their children to act like teenagers or even young adults, such as buying makeups for preschool girls, allowing early teenage dating, treating kids more like grown-ups, expecting them to make adult level choices, dressing them in designer clothes, especially subjecting them to graphic sexuality in television, music videos, movies, and the internet. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ifechi Family. Today, I want us to consider something that is very important and a bit worrying from what we are seeing these days in some families. And the title of this video is Let Your Children Enjoy Their Childhood. And I'm going to use Bible verse in Genesis 33 verse 14. It says, "Please let my Lord go on ahead before his servant. I will lead on slowly at a pace which the livestock that go before me and the children are able to endure." So the bit I want us to bear in mind in this verse is, I will lead on slowly at the pace of the children. That's the bit I want to take out from this verse, Genesis 33 verse 14. Today, there is a tendency on the part of some parents to try and make their children grow up too quickly. They rush them through the milestones of childhood and thrust them into the turmoil of adolescence. This is the conclusion of developmental psychologist Dr. David Elkind, who called this cultural phenomenon the horrid child syndrome. And there are some issues with this. Main psychological impact these kids with horrid child syndrome experiences includes displaying of social anxiety, a desire for solitude, difficulty making friends, stress from attempting to live up to their parents' expectations, and fear of rejection if the expectations are not met, unhappiness, suicidal thoughts, and such like. Now, 21st century parents, what actually is going on? You see some children, the way they dress at 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-olds. I remember a few years ago, a parent here in the UK celebrated her daughter's 10th birthday. If you see how this girl was dressed in high heel, the makeup, her makeup, I've not even at my age had that kind of makeup before. Bright red lipstick and all the rest of it. And I wondered what actually is going on. I was concerned. I spoke to her, the girl's mom. She just said, "Oh yeah, if I tell her not to, she will go and buy it herself." And I'm like, excuse me? At 10 years old, what is her job? Where does she get the money from? You see, parents are already failing in their duties as parents. How can you be telling me that a child of that age, that's how they want to dress, they want to make up like that? If you say no, they say no. That means that you have not actually been doing your job as a mom, as parents. You are too busy for them. You put the TV in front of them so that they don't disturb you, and they see and watch all sorts. horrid child syndrome. It is a big issue. No parent will open their mouth to say such thing about their child as young as 10, that's how they want to dress. You should lead by example. You should have some rules at home, and the children should be guided by those rules. And you have to start on time, not starting at that time when the child is about that 10. No, it's too late. You have to start very early. Sometimes they will come back and tell you, oh, so and so came to school dressed like this or with this or whatever. Tell them that so and so belongs to different family, that this family is different. And sit them down to explain to them why you are telling them that they can't dress like that or act like that. Explain to them in a calm voice. Years ago, parents understood the necessity of a safe and orderly progression through childhood. There were cultural markers that defined the ages at which specific behaviors and activities were deemed appropriate or inappropriate. Today, these markers have vanished, or they have been moved downwards, and it can be a big mistake. When you treat your child or your children as if they were already grown, it becomes very challenging to set limits on their adolescent behavior in the near future. How can you establish a curfew for a 13-year-old, for example, who has been taught to view himself or herself as an adult? In short, the horrid child syndrome deprives our kids of childhood and puts them on an unnatural timetable that is detrimental to their mental and physical health. If you are wise, you will heed the advice of Jacob to his brother Esau in Genesis 33:14. I will lead on slowly at the pace of the children. I say that again. If you are wise, you will heed the advice of Jacob to his brother Esau, where he said, I will lead on slowly at the pace of the children. Parents, let us lead slowly at the pace of our children. Let us not start too early to introduce them to certain ways of life or living, because you are going to struggle so much when they get to a certain age, especially here in the diaspora, where when they wait to get to a certain age and they will tell you, I am now this age, you can't talk to me like that. When they are very young, that's when you need to tackle these things. Lead slowly at the pace of your children. A word is enough for the wise. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. I hope that you have benefited from one or two things from this video. I'll see you again in my next one. Goodbye and God bless.